The evolution of medicine, from ancient remedies to modern marvels. Imagine waking up in a world where a minor infection could take your life. Where surgeries were performed with crude tools and no anesthesia. Where sickness was explained by angry gods, bad air, or evil spirits. This was not a fantasy world, it was the human condition for thousands of years. But despite our early ignorance, humanity has always pursued healing. Across every continent and culture, from jungle herbs to robotic surgeries, medicine has evolved as one of the most profound achievements in human history. And its story is filled with triumphs, tragedies, mistakes, miracles, and a relentless curiosity about how the body works and how it breaks. In this video, we'll take a deep journey into the evolution of medicine. From ancient civilizations to the latest advancements in biotechnology, we'll uncover how each chapter of history has shaped the way we treat, heal, and survive. Let's begin thousands of years ago, when medicine was still entangled with magic and myth. Chapter 1. Healing in the Ancient World, 3000 BCE to 500 BCE. In prehistoric times, the concept of disease was shrouded in mystery. Ancient humans had no understanding of biology or germs. They believed that illness was caused by curses, supernatural forces, or violations of taboos. Healing rituals were performed by shamans or tribal elders who combined herbal remedies with chants, dances, and offerings to appease spirits. By around 3000 BCE, early civilizations like Mesopotamia and Egypt began recording medical knowledge. In Mesopotamia, healers wrote on clay tablets in cuneiform, mixing religious incantations with treatments. Disease was still seen as divine punishment, but their records include symptoms, diagnoses, and herbal prescriptions. Meanwhile, in ancient Egypt, medicine took on a more structured and empirical form. The Ebers Papyrus, dating to around 1550 BCE, is one of the oldest medical documents known. It contains hundreds of remedies, many involving honey, which we now know has antibacterial properties, as well as opium for pain and castor oil for constipation. Egyptian doctors performed basic surgeries, treated fractures, and understood the importance of cleanliness, even if they didn't understand germs. In India, the Ayurvedic system of medicine emerged around the same time. It introduced concepts of bodily energies Vata, Pitta, and Kapha and emphasized balance through diet, herbal treatments, massage, and yoga. Physicians like Charaka and Sushruta compiled vast treatises. Charaka focused on diagnosis and internal medicine, while Sushruta documented over 300 surgical procedures including plastic surgery, caesarean sections, and cataract removal over 2,000 years ago. In China, traditional Chinese medicine flourished during the Zhou dynasty. The body was seen as a network of energy pathways, and illness was caused by blockages in the flow of qi, or life force. Treatments like acupuncture, cupping, herbal medicine, and tai chi were used to restore balance between yin and yang. The Huangdi Neijing, or Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, laid the philosophical and diagnostic foundation of Chinese medicine still practiced today. In Greece, the shift toward rational medicine began with Hippocrates in the 5th century BCE. He rejected supernatural causes of disease and proposed the four humors theory: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Imbalances in these fluids, he believed, led to illness. While scientifically incorrect, this idea dominated medical thinking in Europe and the Middle East for nearly 2 millennia. Hippocrates also introduced clinical observation and ethical standards, establishing medicine as a discipline rooted in evidence and responsibility. Chapter 2. Medicine in the Roman and Islamic worlds. 500 BCE to 1300 CE. While the Greeks laid the theoretical foundation, it was the Romans who excelled in public health. They constructed aqueducts for clean water, advanced sewer systems, public toilets, and military hospitals. Physicians like Galen of Pergamon, building on Hippocratic thought, became authorities in anatomy and physiology. Though Galen dissected only animals, he made accurate observations about the nervous system and the role of the brain. After the fall of Rome, Europe plunged into what's often called the Dark Ages. Scientific progress slowed, and medicine reverted to a blend of religion, superstition, and outdated theories. Bloodletting became widespread, based on the idea that excess humors needed to be drained. Monasteries preserved some classical texts, But true innovation was scarce. In contrast, the Islamic Golden Age spanning from the 8th to the 13th century ushered in an explosion of medical knowledge. Scholars in Baghdad, Damascus, and Cairo translated Greek and Roman texts, added their own research, and built hospitals open to all social classes. Avicenna, known as Ibn Sina, wrote the Canon of Medicine, which became a standard text across Europe and the Islamic world. It covered everything from contagious diseases and pharmacology to mental health and anatomy. Al-Razi, or Rhazes, distinguished between measles and smallpox. Al-Zahrawi compiled a surgical encyclopedia that introduced over 200 instruments and was used for centuries. Their contributions helped medicine evolve beyond superstition, blending classical wisdom with scientific rigor. Chapter 3: The Renaissance and Scientific Revolution. 1300 to 1700. By the 14th century, Europe was ready for change. The Renaissance sparked renewed interest in human anatomy, driven by a cultural shift toward observation, art, and empirical science. Leonardo da Vinci dissected human corpses to create incredibly accurate anatomical drawings. Though unpublished during his life, these sketches demonstrated a profound understanding of human physiology. Then came Andreas Vesalius, whose 1543 work De Humani Corporis Fabrica overturned centuries of errors. Vesalius performed dissections himself, an act once considered taboo, and corrected Galen's mistaken assumptions. His work marked the beginning of modern anatomy. In 1628, William Harvey revolutionized our understanding of circulation. He showed that blood circulates through the body in a closed loop, pumped by the heart, not absorbed and consumed as previously thought. Then came the microscope. Invented by Antoni van Leeuwenhoek, this tool revealed an entirely invisible world, teeming with life, bacteria, sperm cells, and microorganisms. Though germ theory wouldn't emerge until later, Leeuwenhoek's observations cracked open the door to microbiology. Meanwhile, in England, medical colleges and teaching hospitals began forming. Treatments remained primitive, but the culture of observation and skepticism was taking hold. Chapter 4: From Plague to Progress, the 18th and 19th centuries. In the 18th century, smallpox ravaged Europe. But a major breakthrough came in 1796 when Edward Jenner noticed that milkmaids who had contracted cowpox never got smallpox. He inoculated a young boy using cowpox, and the boy became immune. Jenner's work introduced vaccination, a term he coined from vacca, the Latin word for cow. Hospitals, once feared places of last resort, began to improve sanitation and organization. But it wasn't until the 19th century that medicine entered a new era. Louis Pasteur, a French chemist, demonstrated that microbes, not bad air, cause disease. His germ theory reshaped public health, sanitation, and surgery. Inspired by Pasteur, British surgeon Joseph Lister introduced antiseptic surgery. By sterilizing instruments and using carbolic acid to clean wounds, he drastically reduced infections and surgical deaths. At the same time, the introduction of anesthesia using ether and chloroform allowed for longer and more complex operations. Florence Nightingale, during the Crimean War, revolutionized nursing and hygiene. Her meticulous statistics and hospital reforms laid the foundation for modern nursing care. These advancements ushered in what many call the first modern medical era, an era where hospitals became places of healing, not just suffering. Chapter 5: The 20th Century: Power, Technology, and Transformation. The 20th century saw more medical progress than the previous 5,000 years combined. In 1928, Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin, the first true antibiotic. It became widely available during World War II and saved millions of lives. Vaccines expanded to combat polio, measles, diphtheria, and more. Jonas Salk's polio vaccine in 1955 was hailed as a medical miracle. New imaging technologies, X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, and ultrasound let doctors see inside the body without making a single cut. Organ transplants, once science fiction, became real. In 1967, Dr. Christiaan Barnard performed the first successful human heart transplant. The discovery of DNA by Watson, Crick, and Rosalind Franklin unlocked the secrets of heredity, revolutionizing everything from cancer treatment to forensic science. Psychiatry evolved, 2. With new medications for depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder, mental illness was finally recognized as medical, not moral. By the century's end, laparoscope surgery, IVF, dialysis, and chemotherapy became routine in many countries. Chapter 6. The 21st Century, the Future of Healing. Today, medicine is more advanced and more complex than ever before. Artificial intelligence assists in reading scans, predicting diseases, and tailoring treatments to individual patients. Telemedicine connects doctors with patients across the world, especially during global crises like the COVID-19 pandemic. mRNA technology, used in COVID-19 vaccines, may soon prevent HIV, cancer, and more. Robotic surgeries allow for unprecedented precision. CRISPR lets scientists edit genes, potentially curing inherited diseases. Wearable tech monitors heart rate, blood sugar, sleep, and even mood in real time. But with these advancements come challenges: data privacy, healthcare inequality, and ethical debates over genetic editing. Conclusion: the ongoing journey, the story of medicine is far from over. From bone drills to brain implants, from herbal teas to AI diagnostics, every chapter of medical history reminds us of the same truth: healing is both a science and an art. We stand on the shoulders of countless doctors, scientists, healers, nurses, and patients, each of whom added one more piece to the puzzle. And as we look toward the future, one thing is certain: medicine will continue to evolve, shaped by innovation, compassion, and the human will to survive. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. If you found this exploration valuable, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone curious about the history of healing. Stay curious, stay healthy, and until next time, keep learning.